All right, where are we? We are in Tuesday's qualifying round in the African Wilds tournament. Now, the goal here today is to try and get this count in. But if something goes crossways, I will wait till tomorrow. The goal is to get my main account in right now, get one more round in, and then run my practice account today. And then run my practice account tomorrow. Get at least 2 more good rounds of practice before the opening round. We'll see how it rolls. Hole number 1. Hole number 1. All right. Of the ways to get here, I'm starting here trying to bring it around. So yesterday I took the shot twice. The first time I took it, I was 2.5 rings off of this transitional surface. So I was 2.5 rings out, and my trajectory put me so that I came in like this, and so I moved it out to 4 rings, which put me out here, and then it changed the line and it came right through the middle. So I'm going to start off with 4 rings of separation, max curl. See if I wrote down, I think it was max topspin. I think on this particular one I think it was 1 less than max topspin, I think. I was doing a max overpower hook here, so I have some notes on my note sheet for the max overpower hook, but I think the deal is here, and I was bringing a Kingmaker because I needed the 3 side spin. And now I could set the shot up with a Titan, and it would just change my initial sight. I think it would probably be like 2 rings off. And the 2.5 that I originally started off with would probably be right with a Titan, because you're not getting as much side spin. But we will see. A blind curl shot. Let's see if we can make it today. Now, we need to get the par 4s. So, like, this is the hardest of the par 4s. The middle one being the second hardest. But we really need to start this round off with an eagle on this hole. That would be really, really good. Okay, so 4 rings. I'm going to do almost max. I think I should do max. I think on this shot I should just be doing max. 2.9, it's 1.5 per ring, so that should be 2 rings. Max curl. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if that runs me right down the middle of the fairway, or if I still need to move out just a little. I could move out just a little, maybe 4.25 rings. Still got a great shot from there. It just boils down to perfect. To hit that perfect, it's in the hole. Sometimes when you look at those shots, you're like, man, you could lay up right there and it'd be super easy to lay up, and then you've got that second shot every time. But that second shot, you have to make a great wind adjustment and you have to hit it perfect. Whereas where I'm at, it's going to be a minimal wind adjustment. But if you hit it perfect, there's a really good shot it's going to go in the hole. There are a couple holes in the game I can think of where the play is really to try and hit it into the rough. Nice. Nice shot. Nice. Very nice. That's all they were looking for. And they got it done with a Marlin. Oh, I was going to hit it great on one side or the other. That was the side, but I was trying to hedge my bet because I was at such a distance that I didn't think wind was really going to be a factor, and I don't think wind really was a factor there. And I was trying to hedge my bet. That's why I was on the edge of the cup, so I could have, if wind was a factor, maybe a great to the right would go in. If wind wasn't a factor, maybe a great to the left would go in. if you aim right at the flagpole and then take the wind out, really the only shot that's going to go in is perfect. In the hole. Nice. Nice shot. Good game. My opponent showing me how to get it done. Now, I was able to get an Albie on hole number 2 yesterday, but it was total luck. I was going way too fast. So if you want to take this second shot and you're in the right spot on the drive, you need to have a Goliath. So I'm going to set up a bag that has a Goliath in it. Let me think here. I think that's the only change I need to make. Everybody else is the same. Let's see what I have in my club card trading today. I think I'm one. I've gotten the off-roader the last 2 days in a row, and I'm one more away on the off-roader from actually being able to upgrade it to level 7. And I will immediately be putting it in my bag and trying it out versus the Nirvana level 9. Not today. All right. In the bank. Now let's see if we can get this done. So hole number 2, I'm going to be going power 5 ball, bounce number 1, bounce number 2, and trying to run to the end. Now I'm not going to be too upset if I just end up right here and not try and pick up. The deal about trying to pick up all the way to the end is there is a ridge that runs right like through here. So everything on this side's rolling down and everything on this side's rolling down. And especially on the right hand side, if you're drifting it all to the right, the farther you go forward, you're running out, the fairway's cutting off. So there's a lot of times that you could be right here in the rough, and if you look to the right, there's fairway, another 20 feet of fairway. It's super easy to get caught up down here, and you're at the very end of your run. So if you're trying to get all the way to the tip, it's going to be super easy to just end up in the rough here or end up in the rough right here. But if you end up right in this area, you still got the shot, and you're not risking running out of this tapering fairway. So I'm not trying to get all the way down there. Let's make sure I actually pick that bag. I did this once a couple tournaments ago with Dunner and was trying to pick a bag and came in and looked at it and looked at the club and did all this stuff and then got out on the course and forgot to put the club actually in my bag. And then was like, shit, I can't take the shot again because I don't have the right club. Same kind of deal, trying to do a rough bump on the second shot, and you need top spin. If I end up in the right spot, I'm going to do a 30% adjustment to the cup at mid. Opponent's got a power 5, 4 wind, 3 side spin. Maybe they're going to play. Yeah, it's your turn, dude. Your turn, bro. Sporting some jewelry. That left-hand curl right there, I think, hit it perfect, and I think that's going to end up biting them if they do that. I think if they hit it perfect, they're going to end up on the right-hand side no matter what. Now, that grate actually might have helped them. They would have got farther forward and ended up in the rough if they'd hit it perfect. All right, here we go. I think it's one less than max. I want to be out there with one side spin, so I'm going in that direction. Okay, 3-3. It's 2.1 per ring, so it's about a ring and a half. Hitting it perfect. Just trying to run out there, and you can see it starts to drift one way or the other depending on what side it's on, and it's easy for it to fall off. I got lucky and got quite a bit down there. Really, the spot I was aiming for is kind of like right behind me. There's the little divot and then the little hill, but kind of right where that hill's at. I'm way in the hill up there. Now I'm pretty close to short iron range. And I'm pretty sure I know for a fact with the short iron that I have in this, I don't have enough topspin because I'm using a Kingfisher, and it doesn't have a lot of topspin. Kingfisher's a really good club, especially if you just started playing. When it's low level, you need that little teeny bit of backspin, and it's a great club. And then it falls, and then it kind of loses it until it gets back up way late in the game. There is a period of time when you've got lower developed clubs that the Kingfishers are a really good club. Alright, I am in Goliath, but I got to be pretty damn close to minimum. I am a min. What's a minimum Goliath? 2.9. So 1.3 times 3.4 equals divided by 2.9. 1.5 rings. Okay, 1.5 rings. Oh. It's in the right spot. You gotta take advantage of those ones. You can see it on that drive. If I'd hit it anything but perfect, it would not have been in the right spot. I would have been in the rough, making a rough shot there. If you're a little bit further back, I think it's higher percentage, and you obviously have a ton of room that you could still be back and still be within your long iron to make that shot. So it could potentially be a couple rings or a couple less than max topspin. I think I ran max topspin there, but I really needed to run a little less. All right. That hole. Still need to get the shot to the cup perfect so that I can check our win percentage. Hole number 3. Hole number 3. Let's get a hole in one right here. I like this hole too. All right, which way is the wind blowing? And the wind is blowing good for us. So I'm going to use a Power 1 ball, and I'm going to take, because of the way the wind's blowing, I don't really need a low wind ball. I'm going to take a Navigator. I didn't write what kind of spin I need, so I might need to switch that to a Quasar, but I don't know that I'm using more than one spin. 5% to the cup. 1.05 times whatever the wind is divided by 1. Here we go. Let's get a hole in one. I've got this is a great opportunity for a hole in one on this hole. .4, 2.5, 2 rings. can't hit perfect. Urgh. And it is right there. Perfect, and that is in the hole. I hit a great to the left and now a great to the right. So now all I got left to do is hit a perfect and get it in the hole. Let's not talk. You do not want to hit 2 rings great to the left or the right there. You don't have 2 rings great to the left or the right. And I'd moved it up. You might have noticed that I moved it up like my opponent, where I was a little bit further up into that slot, just to give myself just a little teeny bit more room on the wind. And I was trying to stay as far to the left as I could. That is the cool thing about that spot down there, is you can move it around a little bit and it's still a good spot. Some of those spots, there's a sticky spot, and if you're not in that sticky spot, you're in the wrong spot. But this one doesn't seem to really work that way. And that curl that they just put on there, even though that's just baby curl rubbing against the nubs, that's not good. That might go in. It's going to be close. And it was leaning to the right, and they were leaning to the right. Now theoretically, I should have been able to hit that good and still go in. Closer you can get. So for those of you that haven't, if there's people out there that haven't been playing for a long time, always running your topspin. Sometimes you'll run your topspin and your ball guide will appear and disappear, and you start having a little bit of problems with it. The second that you start having problems with it, stop and put on 2 or 3 backspin and get up close and shoot it, because you don't want to mess around with it. But if you can, always run topspin. The closer you can get the first bounce to you, number 1, the less the wind's going to affect it, and number 2, the more accurate it gets. Which means that you could hit it 2 rings great to the left or the right, and it'll still go in. Hole number 5. What the hell is hole number 4? Are we already on hole number 5? No, we're on hole number 4. Play hole number 4. Okay, that's better. Hole number 4. All right, we have to get on in 1. So my notes say extra mile, power 5. And why are we using a power 5? The deal is that this week we know we have tailwind, so we're always going to be able to go right up against the red line. We're always going to be able to take the wind out. And so we can standardize the shot. We don't have to use any overpower if we use a power 5 ball. And yes, we could probably use just about any other ball, but we'd have to do overpower, and that's a huge variable. I'm going to take the wind out, and I'm going to put 1 pull out wind and add 1 ring back. Max topspin. And I'm going to take my number. Well, it's not going to matter. This bag will work. As long as I got an extra mile, and we really need to hit this perfect. A great to the left is problematic on the second bounce. There's a good chance you'll clip on the second bounce and you'll just bleed out into that fairway. And a great to the right, you'll be fine on the first and second bounce, but the third bounce, trying to get out of the rough, you've just lengthened the distance that you have to run, and that's problematic. So this is definitely a shot you want to hit perfect, which is one of the reasons why we're bringing a power 5 ball, to give ourselves a better shot of hitting it perfect. You can see where that second bounce is. We don't have a lot of room. So we don't have a lot of room to put any curl on it either. So 2-9, it's a ring and a half. And I'm just going to take out the half a ring. Hitting it perfect. I'm just trying to roll it out. If I didn't put that ring back in it, it was either just right rolling out or right caught in the rough. And since we know we're going to have, and today the wind is blowing pretty much with us, so that's why I didn't worry about taking all the wind out and then squaring it back up. The wind was blowing pretty much with the shot. But if the wind was blowing like side tailwind right there, I would have taken the wind out and then turned it around and faced the direction I was hitting and then put a ring back in it. And you could put it all back in there, but then you have to watch where your bounces are, because the third bounce is right before the rough. And then it goes from the third bounce into the rough and then rolls out of the rough. But if the third bounce clips the rough at the very beginning, you'll just get stuck in the rough. So you've got to have that bounce right there get hit where it did. They just didn't have enough oomph. Okay, wind should not play a factor from this distance, but I'm going to hedge my bet and go on the other side of the flagpole. And we'll see if it hits the flagpole or if it comes in on the other side, and it came in on the other side, so wind was not a factor. So by moving it over like that, if wind would have been a factor, it would have pushed me to the other side of the flagpole, and a perfect would go in, and a great to the left would go in. And if wind wasn't a factor, like it was right there, you hit a perfect, it goes in. You hit a great to the right, it goes in. And a great to the left has an opportunity to go in because it's down the hill, and it might actually drift and go in the cup. Anything you can do to give yourself as much advantage as you can. Perfect. Good game. Good game. Couple eagles. That's what we need to get on that hole. Hole number, what are we on now? Are we on 5 now? Now we are on 5. Sure. Hole number 5. All right, this par 3. I'm going straight at it. Hole number 5. Grizzly, 2 power. You could use a low wind ball. I'm just going to use a Katana. 17.5. 1.175 times whatever the wind is. And I'm not so sure I shouldn't be going the other direction. 4 backspin and a half a right hand side spin. Grizzly, Katana. Katana. Da 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 da. Okay, this is not a hole that I get a lot of hole-in-ones on, but I have gotten hole-in-ones on it. It's one of those holes that when you make a hole-in-one, you're surprised. You're like, wow. And those are the types of holes that you just need one. Like a hole like this that like you don't normally drop. Getting one. That's why playing a round and not dropping any score off a minimum score and picking up the par 4s, and then you pick up a hole like this that you don't normally get can be huge. I'm a max club 4.9. I'm not so sure that I shouldn't be doing I'm going to do the 493. Here's 493. Hitting it perfect. And still didn't pull it enough. Divided by 0.9. That'd have been 4.8 if I'd have did 0.9 per ring instead of 1. So if you look at Golf Clash Notebook and you're looking at the wind chart for Grizzlies, when you get it up to where it's got 100% accuracy, it's actually better than 100%. And instead of being 1 per ring, it's actually 0.9. But I think when you go up to like a 2 or a 3 power ball, it changes it back to 1. I'm going to write 0.9 on there because I definitely didn't pull it enough. If I can find a pen. Maybe I can find a pen. Now I need a stylus. All right. 0.9 per ring. And we'll stick with the percentage number, and we'll just make that change and see where we're at. Next hole, extra mile, Kingmaker. Grizzly to the cup at plus 30 is what my notes say. The drive should be at 373 at an absolute minimum, because at 373 you're either at minimum sniper or maximum grizzly, having to put topspin on. So we want to be probably like 390 on this hole. Let's see what it is. Hole number 6. Yeah. Now, I tried something out the other day. So the normal area is just trying to head out here into like I was saying, the 390 range. 373. When you come up to the shot up here, you're kind of in between. Your red line's right there. So if you're using a sniper grizzly combo, your sniper's a little bit, you're having to put on like 5 or 6 backspin. And if you're with your grizzly, now you're having to put on topspin. And from this angle coming in, you do not want to put on topspin, because it's too easy to roll off past the cup, and then it'll just roll off. But I tried the other day in my practice round, I pounded the ball out here. And then you got a T rough bump, but you need to bring, I had to take the grizzly shot and go straight at it, which wasn't a bad shot. But if you had a Goliath, you could actually take the Goliath and try and rough bump it up there. I'm not sure which one I like better. I like this one better because if you miss the cup, you're up on the flat up at the top. But you do have to work a little bit harder to get down there. I think I'm just going to do the layup shot, which I can do with a Kingmaker. I think you can do either shot with a Kingmaker. Now I'm going to use a tight. Why not? It's the king of balls. If it can't get it done, it can't get done. When a Titan can't get it done, you need to bring out a utility ball. You need to bring out a working man's ball. When you need a professional, you bring out a 4-4-4. And get the pros on the job, the union boys. If I can get an opponent. Use 4-4-4s when you want a dunner on the job. The Rig Pig. Beaver Nation. I wonder if they're a Beaver believer. An Oregon Beaver fan. My buddy from South Carolina always wanted the Beavers to end up playing the Gamecocks and something, so it'd be the Beavers and the Cocks. Four or 5. Should be just a titch over 2 rings. Hitting it perfect. The very first time I ever played this hole, I made an Albie on it with a Saturn. So let's see if we can get that done again if I don't end up in the rough. I definitely got my distance this time. Last time I was short. The 373 did not work, but the 398 will work fine. That'll put me, that might actually put me like really good. I think I'll still be at max long iron. And I'm doing why do my notes say plus 30? That doesn't look like a plus 30, but my notes say plus 30. I'm going to follow my notes. And man, today is the day. That wind is blowing right, absolutely the way we want it to. There's max. There's min. So I'm at mid club. Mid club's 1.1 per ring. divided by 1.1. 4.96 rings. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Woo! In the hole. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yes, sir. That will work. That was at plus 30 at mid club. Now, you can bring a lower power ball here, obviously, but I think, you know, like really trying to set the second shot up, this is a being in long iron versus being in wood, and the only difference is a bigger power ball. That's a significant upgrade. Hitting it perfect. Getting the hole. Maybe. That was close. Close. Good game. All right. Got an Albie on that. That'll be a good tie. That'll be good for my opening round tiebreakers if it gets down into the nitty gritty. And I still got one more opportunity. One more. All right. Now I got an Albie on hole number 2 in the practice round. Now I got this one. Now all I got left to do is get an Albie on hole number 9, and I did get a hole in 1 as well. Hole number 7. What is hole number 7? All right, I love this hole. I'm doing a 60% adjustment times the wind. And I'm using a Grizzly and a 0 power ball. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. Wind's blowing all right. Now, I don't think I have. Do I have a lot of those? I only have 2 types of 0 power balls. I've got the ones that have the precision, or I have Marlins. I'm going to take a Marlin because with the way that the wind is blowing here, I don't think I'll have to involve the sand. But if I have to involve getting over the hill or doing anything strange like that, I may switch to a low wind ball. Those are definitely weekend balls. Let's do the wind first. Not my turn. 3.5 rings off. 60%. I like this hole. I've gotten a lot of hole-in-ones on this hole. Now what I'm curious about over there that we haven't had in the past, because in the past you get over into that area right there and you really couldn't do much, but if you brought out a club that had better ball guide like a Grizzly and you used a 4 or a 5 side spin ball, now you could start talking about walking it around the corner and actually being able to walk your ball guide to the cup. Whereas before, the best we could do was set it up and then put on some curl. And so the shot was always inconsistent. Okay, 2.9 equals 4.64 rings. Okay, I'm going to be about 3.5 rings off. Sure I'm going through. I'm on the high part of the cup, so 4.64 rings. There's 4, 5, 6, 4 exactly. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Woo! In the hole. That's what I'm talking about. Back to back. Never giving up. Look at that. Getting it done. 60% wind adjustment. And the deal there is that a low wind ball. Okay, let's talk about the low wind ball there, because this is a personal opinion. The low wind ball here, if you were getting in a situation where, and you're far enough away, I mean, I'm giving myself 3.5 rings out here. I shouldn't have to worry about. It's so damn steep that there may be some areas out here, like if you were pulling it, if the wind was headwind. But I think with tailwind, we're so far above the ring set that even if you brought a low wind ball and you only had to do a 2-ring or 2.6 ring maneuver, 2.6 rings is still just as hard because of how, I mean, shit, you're as far away from the ring set as I am right here. So it doesn't, you don't necessarily need to bring out a low wind ball, but on the weekend, I'm definitely going to bring those precision balls out because, hell, anything that'll help you hit perfect is better. Better. 60% wind adjustment. Hole number 8. Okay, my notes say extra mile Kingmaker, 1 less than max topspin, 3.5 right side spin. Wow, that was with the old setting, so it's like 1 and something. It's not much. What is this hole? Hole number 8. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is get out into this zone so that I have, excuse me, I'm trying to get on in 1. I was thinking of the next hole. What was I thinking? Trying to get on in 1 less than max topspin. And really, coming through this area, this neck, I think the way that I'm going through here is that I could hit a 1-ring great to the right and still make it. It needs to be perfect or 1-ring great to the right. Otherwise, I might be in some serious shit. And we have to make this one. This par 4 is like a par 3. We've got to get an eagle on it. We got to get on in 1 and get in the hole. That's it. We have no options. Hold on 1 second. All right, I had to talk to a man about a horse. That was a millisecond. That's about how long it took. Hole number 8. Let me look at it one more time. Okay, hole number 8. I got it fresh in my memory banks. Hole number 8. I'm taking extra mile on a Kingmaker. Now, depending on the level of your clubs, I'm using 1 less than max topspin, so that's like 75 topspin. So you could bring out a power 4 ball if you got like an extra mile 4 or 5 and it doesn't have all the topspin. You could bring out a power 4 ball and move your red line forward, or you could bring out a ball that's got topspin boost. And I'm going to bring a Kingmaker. Just a straight up shot. Open up a chest, clear out a slot. Here we go. Here we go. Getting out on the course. Emily, we just suck. Thanks for joining the channel. Here we go. All right. Either hero or zero. Here we go. 1 less than max topspin. 2.9, it's 2 rings, or excuse me, that's a ring and a half. So 2.1 per ring. That was a 1-ring great to the right, so we're going to test my theory of whether or not I have enough room for a 1-ring great to the right to eke through. And it'll just roll down to the cup. I don't think there's any shot of getting all the way to the cup there, but that's not the important thing. Hole in one here on a par 4. This could potentially be there's going to be hole in ones made this week on this hole, I'm sure. But the goal here is just to get an eagle. And my opponent brought out a power 5 ball, and you can see, like, anything that you can do. Hey, I know, but you got to be realistic. in your bracket, how many people are going to bring out whatever it takes? You have to get an eagle on this hole. If you don't get an eagle on this hole, you just dropped a shot. And there's going to be way too many people in the bracket that are going to get eagles on this hole both times through, and it's hard to recover. And this is the lowest hanging fruit on the entire course. Where you don't want to get is where you just bleed onto the green there. That works. Into hold. All right, hole number 9. We need. So my teammate Richard sent me some stuff on hole number 9, and so the shot to the cup was, we're trying to get into mid sniper. It's mid minus 10 to the cup. And I play my sniper at mid at 1.2 per ring. Well, it should be 1.1. Here we go. It's a draw. Good job, Emily. Good job. All right, we're probably going to qualify here for sure. How many 14s we got? We got a 15 up at the top. Let's see if we can put a 17 up at the top. Let's look at hole number 9. Let's get a look at it. Hole number 9. All right, I am definitely going the straight shot, going out here, just trying to lay it up, doing the rough bump coming to the cup. You don't need to get a mile out here. You can actually hit yourself too far. But 356, 386. 386 plus is what we're looking for. I think more in the 400 if you can really get out there. We'll see. I'm going to use an extra mile and a kingmaker once again. You could do this with a Titan, especially since we got tailwind. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use a Titan. We'll let the King of Balls get the work done. This tournament's sponsored by Titan, the King of Balls. That's right. It says it right there on the ball. Finding an opponent. Let's get an Albie right here. I haven't had an Albie on this hole in a long time, and this is one of those par 5s that it's frustrating. You're just so damn close. You can get in the right spot almost every time. But the shot going into the cup just wants to be difficult. I want to leave myself plenty of room. I'm 2.5 rings off. If you follow the ball guide where I'm at, I've got lots of room going down the field. 2 rings is 4.2. I'm going to do a 4.2 adjustment. Hitting it perfect. And let's see if I roll where I was aiming. And I was trying to aim towards the top of that rough where it comes back up into the fairway, and I was right on that line. Lots of room. I'd rather set myself up so that I hit from that spot every time than to end up in the rough out here once because I'm trying to push the limit or pick up the extra 5 yards or shit, that fairway's so big. Give yourself lots of room. Now obviously we don't want to be close to the left-hand side. We don't want to give ourselves more distance, but they're going to pound it out there. And they're going to be giving themselves more distance by hitting it with that left-hand curl. I think they still have the rough bump from there, but much further than that, and they might not. 0.9 times the wind. 4.4. Am I in mid club? I am. mid club. So equals divided by 1.1. 3.6 rings. I'm going to get up a little closer. .6 rings. There's 3.6. And great to the left. One ring. Arr! Arr! And that far away, that is, oh man, I would have loved to see what a perfect would have looked like on that. Arr! Arr! Where is the R emoji? They want you to pay 500 gems for it. It's where it's at. I saw it was available in the store one time, and I was like, I am not spending 500 gems or 1,000 gems or whatever the hell they wanted for it. I was like, I'm not spending $5 or $10 for a freaking emoji. I would like to have it though. I saw it was also in the golf pass thing. If you had the golf pass, it was one of the awards that you could get if you were at like level 15 or 16. Now, I have to go back when I watched the video and see how they set that up, because it seemed like they were like way, they weren't trying to rough bump. I was like, that rough bump's not going to work. And that's probably why they weren't trying to do a rough bump. I do see a lot of my opponents setting stuff up, and it's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And then they do it, and then they're like, give you the frowny face, or they give you something, and it's like, dude, you hit it straight into the freaking sand. That's where you set it up. That's where it ended up when you did your wind adjustment. It was going to go in the sand. What are you bitching about? All right, what did we end up with? We ended up with a 16. That's the kind of score we need to get. We need to get 15 or better, and then pick something up. Now, I didn't get the first par 4, but I was able to pick up a par 3 and a par 5, and that par 4 that's killer. I mean, picking up all of the par 4s and standardizing those holes. What is it, hole number 4? Picking up all 3 of those, and then just picking up just that one extra item. Now I got, what we're looking for is minus 16 around. But I really wasted one of these shots, and I should be at minus 17 with that par 4, obviously with the score there. But we're counting on these 2 shots. We can't be using these 2 shots to cover us where on another hole where we screwed up. That's not how this shit works. There is no covering. You drop it on one hole, that's bad. But that's the kind of round you're going to need, I think, in the weekend round. You're going to have to be plus 30 plus in order to have a shot at a banner. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. That was my qualification round for 77. I'm going to play, I'll probably play odd tonight while I'm watching TV and just practice some of the holes. And then tomorrow I will go out and run another practice round. Be safe, have fun, and I will see you on the next one.